Every organization has its distinct vision and it works toward meeting this by setting up goals and objectives, and employing its strategies. On the course toward reaching its goals, it has to overcome risks and uncertainties faced by the business. Board members and senior management, being the ultimate custodians of the organization, have the primary responsibility for managing risks and instituting controls within an organization. Due to the disruptive technologies, geopolitical issues, changing social preferences and regulatory changes, the business and operating environment has become increasingly complex. Given this scenario, it has become important for the board and senior management of every company to ensure that the company's approach to risk has been properly considered when setting the company's strategies, plans and operations. Additionally, the stakeholders have become more engaged, seeking greater transparency and accountability. This has resulted in the need to have an integrated system of internal controls, which supports the governance of the organization. Control frameworks empower the board and senior management in assessing and enhancing governance, risk management and control mechanisms. Committee of Sponsoring Organizations of the Treadway Commission, COSO, is an internal control framework which has broad acceptance and is widely used across the world. COSO framework transforms the way controls are looked at in an organization by taking a top-down approach, which starts from the entity-level controls and aligning them at detailed process level. It is based on 17 principles encompassing 5 components, which includes the control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication and monitoring activities. Criteria of control. COCO was introduced in 1992 with the objective of improving organizational performance and decision-making with better controls, risk management, and corporate governance. In 1995, guidance on control was produced and described the COCO framework on defining controls by Canadian Institute of Chartered Accountants. The framework includes 20 criteria for effective control in 4 areas of an organization: purpose, commitment, capability, and monitoring and learning. ISO. The ISO 31000 International Standard for Risk Management incorporates a risk management framework, which in turn utilizes internal controls as a mechanism for managing risk. It takes a generic approach that provides the principles and guidelines for managing any form of risk in a systematic, transparent and credible manner and within any scope and context. ISO 31000 specifies 11 principles for managing risk, which include the idea that risk management creates value, represents an integral part of organizational processes, and is part of decision-making. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision introduced the framework for internal control systems in 1998. Regulatory compliance is an integral part of the framework. The 5 elements of internal control are: management oversight and control culture, risk recognition and assessment, control activities and segregation of duties, information and communication, and monitoring activities and correcting deficiencies. We have done this before. EY has a proven track record of providing internal control and corporate governance advisory to leading companies in the GCC and globally. We have successfully delivered projects across the range of areas that this engagement demands, including internal control framework, corporate governance, enterprise risk assessment and designing enterprise risk framework. We shall leverage our methodology in our formal approach. This means we can undertake this work quickly, effectively and cost-effectively for you. Our approach is a tested approach and tightly linked to your objectives. We have formed an experienced team with multidisciplinary skill sets, telecom domain, internal control framework, corporate governance and enterprise risk experience. The team proposed has worked together on multiple projects. We have leveraged resources from across our regional team to bring you the best and most appropriate people. We have delivered a number of successful assignments to Viva and the wider STC group. This includes assisting STC with implementation of control framework. We understand the specific nuances of the organization and how you are shaping the telecoms landscape within the region. EY is known for its deep telecommunications sector knowledge, relationships with the industry's key stakeholders, and strong global capabilities. We serve all of the top 20 telecommunication companies ranked by market capitalization. 7 as auditors and 13 as advisors. Our Global Telecommunications Center is a virtual hub that brings together people, cultures and leading ideas from across the world, to help you address your global, regional and local challenges. 3 key phases of our approach. Phase 1, executive management and other stakeholders become familiar with the leading internal control strategies and frameworks. We help clarify key objectives relating to internal controls and create awareness about the benefits of a structured approach achieved through adoption of a framework. Conduct awareness workshop on leading internal control framework and practices and their practical applicability to Viva. Discuss results of the activities and agree the IC framework with assigned decision maker in Viva. Outcome, awareness workshop on various internal control frameworks. Phase 2, we develop our current state understanding through questionnaires and interviews with department heads and process owners. After assessing the current state, we review the existing entity-level controls in detail, through walkthroughs, meetings, document review based on our judgment etc. to benchmark them against the chosen framework. Our methodology is versatile to accommodate any framework selected for assessing internal controls. For example, if COSO framework is selected by BOD, we evaluate the existing entity-level controls against the 5 components of COSO framework comprising 17 principles. Outcome, findings and recommendations report. Phase 3, after findings and recommendations report is validated by the management, we will prioritize and agree on major activities, project definitions, process owners. For IC framework implementation plan, bring key executives together with the risk, control and compliance functional leadership to prepare a comprehensive roadmap to address deficiencies identified. Outcome, final implementation plan, presentation to key stakeholders.